Hello consumers! My name is Melody Sims and I am a student at Butler Learning Sphere. For my course on ancient disabled history, I will be discussing, in retrospect and historical context, the many changes that have occurred over the past 100 years as we approach 2100. I've been instructed to explain as if this will be viewed by someone of that time, so I will be using older vocabulary, technology, and sources relevant to someone from the early 2000s. First, I would like to address some of the research I will be using. Today marks the 65th anniversary of Alice Wong's death. It sparked the end of an era of insight into the disability community from the perspective of disabled oracles. She was the last, and ever since it has been difficult to find individuals as committed to the preservation and well-being of disabled individuals such as her, especially after the merging of organics into the community, which came with turmoil and infighting, and a struggle to even define what it means to be disabled. We will be referencing some of her interviews, including her last address as a disabled oracle in 2029, and her now controversial interview with Gillian Weiss in a vintage audiocast discussing triborgs and what it means to be a cyborg. We will also be discussing the turn of the century in the context of recently deceased scholar Alison Kafer's article, At the Same Time, Out of Time, Ashley X, given the new nickname for individuals who have similar conditions or abilities as the subject of that article. It is unknown exactly who coined the nickname for these individuals, but it memed and was used as a slur for severely disabled individuals before being adopted by more professional organizations as the common term for individuals fitting this category. Ashleys are often subject to euthanization, if not severely altered, as Ashley X was, all those years ago. I would like to discuss, for a moment, the types of individuals we will be discussing today, as the ability of individuals has changed over the past 80 years.
Cognito-bodied, enhanced both genetically and technologically. Able-bodied, enhanced technologically and maybe genetically. Organics, neither genetically enhanced nor technologically enhanced. Disabled, technologically enhanced, but unable to perform the same tasks as organics in one way or another. Ashleys, not technologically enhanced or genetically enhanced and severely impaired, vulnerable to euthanization by death insurance companies.
Now we will be discussing what has come of disability studies, disabled individuals, and able-bodied individuals. Before we discuss that, I would like to cite Alison Wong's explanation of what CRISPR is, as it has become a large factor in how humans are able to function nowadays because of germline gene editing technology.
CRISPR-Cas9 is one gene editing tool that became popular because it's fast, cheap, and accurate. CRISPR was used in 2018 by He-Jian Kuei, a researcher who announced at an international conference that he produced genetically edited babies in an attempt to make them resistant to HIV. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for illegal medical practices in 2019. The last disabled oracle, Wong.
This type of gene editing is now much more common and is paired with new types of technology, such as contact implants, ear implants, head chips, or any type of technology that affects the way a limb functions. Disability studies has changed over the years. It has become more prevalent, but has also, unfortunately, become more misinformed. The government, influenced by ethicists, required individuals to show a knowledge in disability studies, albeit basic knowledge, and take a psychological wellness exam before allowing them to screen and genetically alter their own developing embryos. The topics of abortion and disability studies have gained equal status in the political atmosphere as controversial and filled with misinformation. The anti-AI movement has seen a surge in pro-techno-ableism and, I apologize, I said that term wrong, has seen a surge in pro-techno-ability and pro-CRISPR DNA. And these activists are fighting for the human race to beat AI in cognito and physical ability. Now that there are fewer disabled individuals, they are often discriminated against by individuals like these who protest against accommodations and want to focus on the enhancement of people rather than the equitability of technology designed for the human body. These are what Alice Wong and Gillian Weiss referred to as triborgs, the individuals who often discriminate against organics disabled Ashleys and would rather focus on the enhancement of individuals.
Yeah, I think triborgs are like people use tech or whatever they think of as. Tech mainly as accessories, but it's not central or necessary to my existence. And I think that's what's different from disabled people. Many of us, were without these things, we wouldn't be who we are. Disability Visibility Podcast, Wong.
I bring up this quote because it reflects the opinions of many disabled individuals these days who have decided to use technology but are unable to healthfully or did not have the opportunity to receive genetic enhancement. Able-bodied individuals, as you knew them in 2022, have become a minority as well. They are often referred to as organics, since their genetic makeup has not been altered, and they often decide to abstain from body-enhancing technology as part of family tradition. Following the Kardashian versus CRISPR Therapeutics decision in the Supreme Court, organics have been deemed disabled by today's standards, as genetic or technological modifications are seen as a right and expected within the working class. They are often given special access to disabled individuals are often given special access to new advanced sensors and physical enhancements, despite not necessarily wanting them, or perhaps preferring the technology that they have already.
I love a lot of my devices, and even the ones I don't like, I like, right? Laughing, I'm using a lot of things. If I've chosen them, there's usually good reasons behind them. But I think that is important to keep in mind that what we want is good technologies that we want, and not just normalizing technologies or technologies that tell us, in normalizing us, that we weren't good enough before. Disability Visibility Podcast, Wong.
Those who do not accept these accommodations are often seen as lower than even organics and are referred to now more oftenly as Ashleys.
Stressing that Ashley might get better either through technological interventions or therapy, or both, suggests that it is the getting better that renders the treatment offensive or inappropriate. And if that is the case, then the treatment is appropriate as long as we make sure we are getting the right children, the ones who do not have a chance of improving their function. But drawing lines between levels of impairment is notoriously difficult. Kafer, 297.
I bring this up to highlight the fact that the types of able-bodiedness are often on a spectrum that is unable to be completely determined. Now I will discuss death insurance. Death insurance has become a need for all individuals, as it ensures the preservation of their DNA for cloning purposes. However, individuals who reject or cannot afford death insurance are often denied access to medical or technological treatment. This has caused the deaths of thousands of disabled individuals and the forced euthanization of a number of Ashleys following the anti-AI protests of 2087.
The future invoked by the Ashley treatment is a wholly privatized one. Disability and disabled people belong in the private sphere. Given someone like Ashley, who cannot communicate, these questions of quality of life become all the more complicated. She cannot tell us what she thinks about her life. Kafer 296.
Unfortunately, this has become the truth for most Ashleys. Because they cannot communicate, and because they are seen as so much lower than able-bodied individuals, or especially cognito-bodied individuals, they are often euthanized against their will. Able-bodied individuals have become much more different now. Germline gene editing and technology advancements have created a new race of cognito-bodied individuals who have been edited to be as smart, physically capable, and adapted to technology as possible. There are more prodigies present than ever, and they tend to spring from the pockets of their parents in this privatized world. This has put some cognito-abled people in danger, though, as cognitohazards and bioweapons have been used by foreign organics as a form of terrorism. I would like to end this meeting with an Alice Wong quote, which I think reflects the voice of disabled individuals that is so difficult to hear.
Throughout history, marginalized, troublesome, undesirable people are not believed or taken seriously. We elicit discomfort and disrupt people's binary ideas of normalcy. Our warnings have been silenced in order to uphold the status quo. Even when we make persuasive arguments, we are not at the center, despite our extensive scholarship and wisdom. The last disabled oracle, Wong.
I find it saddening that today, this is the result. Thank you. My name is Melody Sims. Goodbye.